What's going on, everyone? Kaz, ELEVATEYOURCRAFT, back for another stream, and we are going to explore some magic theory from a beginner perspective. So as I've mentioned in other videos that I've done related to magic, I am still pretty new to the game. I've been playing for about 7 months now. I've played a fair bit within that time, I suppose, but I'm really trying to actively get better at the game. But thought I would also just kind of record the journey that I'm going through as a beginner. And hopefully people that are also new to the game, or whatever that scale may be, whether it's brand new or around the same experience level that I have, or maybe even more, hopefully can bring some benefit or help others in some way. Hopefully I can bring that to the stream. But a concept that I've come across in my just reading about magic and all that kind of stuff is back to front thinking. So sort of looking at the ending of the game, and of course we want to play the best we possibly can play. There are games that we're going to lose. It's going to happen. You can't really get around that. But we want to consider the outcome first, which in this case would be a win, and then sort of deconstruct that win and understand how we achieve that result. And the deck I'm going to be playing is mono red, aggro, based off of just a list. I don't know whose it was exactly, but based off of a list from one of the recent events. I think it was a GP Lille, if that's how you pronounce it, Lille. Except for Rekindling Phoenix, I would definitely play it if I had it. I just only have one at the moment, and I just threw a Demanding Dragon in there, which is going to be there for now, but it's a 5 mana drop that is a little more demanding on the mana base, obviously. But I've thought of what else can I maybe throw in there, like a Legion Warboss, or is there another 4-drop? So this is just a placeholder for now. We're just kind of putting it in there for fun, because I happen to have one Demanding Dragon too. So we're still looking for Rekindling Phoenix. These games are going to be single match. Fortunately and unfortunately, I guess, we'll have a really good idea of how our main board works in this kind of configuration, but no sideboarding means that we won't really have a ton of experience in sideboarded games, which isn't great. But we'll still be able to kind of explore and ask questions around, back to front thinking. So deconstructing a victory and then understanding how we got there. So, this is a concept that I'm pretty new to, and I think we do it maybe intuitively or without even knowing a lot of the time. But, feel free to chime in or whatever feedback you can offer. Again, I'm approaching this from a beginner standpoint, so open to learning whatever I possibly can. And this is the deck that we will be playing. Well, the goal is to have 2 completed meta-based decks, and one is, of course, this one, and the other is it Spells, or is it Phoenix, Arclight Phoenix? So we are lacking in the Phoenix department. 1 Rekindling and then 1 Arclight. So why don't we get going? So, I think in most matchups, it's our burn that's going to finish off the game. We just want to get in early with aggression and then tax our opponent's life total until we can just send in the burn spells to finish things off. So I'm on the draw, which isn't great. We have a 1-drop, a couple 2-drops, and then a Wizard's Lightning. So I guess that's okay. And once again, it's not the best not having sideboarded games, but it looks like we're up against maybe Dimir control or Grixis control. So in this game, in this type of matchup, how are we looking to end it? Because if they get up to Doom Whispers, Nicol Bolas, I think we just have to essentially get them low enough before they can resolve creatures like that, which will be tough on the draw. So that was a Discovery Disperse. So I really think, so 3-drop, maybe a disinformation campaign. If it's another blue source and they leave mana up, they may have a counter spell. So I think the end of this game really looks like maximizing my reach, because once the large creatures come down, and I was going to say we also throw as much burn at them as possible. They're not going to want to, I imagine they're not going to want to surveil if they do resolve a Doom Whisper very much, because they'll obviously be doing damage to themselves. So we'll play our spells here, get the counters on the Steamkin, and then just swing in with the Firebrand and the Steamkin. So if they get a Nicol Bolas here, okay, that'll do it too. So if we draw land here, so Lightning Strike, we'll just send it at them. They're at 9 life total right now. So Experimental Frenzy would be great. I think this has that life link, so that's pretty bad. Fanatical Firebrand. We won't attack, because they can bring this back from the graveyard too. But I mean, the lifelink isn't great, and I think we sack the Firebrand to take it out, because they're going to have to pay 3 life to get it back. So, and I don't want them getting lifelink off of this Blood Operative. So let's just hope that works, because it's not looking good so far. Experimental Frenzy would be a great draw here. That doesn't help us. Okay, Pyromancer isn't too bad. I mean, we're putting pressure on their life total. I mean, at this point, we're not even going to look to touch the Predator. I doubt they want to attack. So Experimental Frenzy is the draw we're looking for here. G2 Lava Runner, that's not great. So we'll just leave it. Okay, so there's a bit of life gain, so this is going to be tough from here on out. Really, it's Experimental Frenzy that we need to draw. I think that's the only thing that's going to save us here. Land will not do it. I mean, Rekindling Phoenix is great, but I think we're a little late. And they have 2 blue sources of mana, 1 card up. I mean, we got to try and resolve it. There's nothing else we can do. Yep, and that's what I was waiting for. So I think this game's out of reach now. Okay, well, there's the Frenzy. I mean, we only have 3 mana to work with, so it's not that great. And another... So I think we can move on. Okay, so... I mean, that matchup... It's a tough one if we can't be very, very aggressive early. I think... losing that Wizard's Lightning wasn't great. Things like Banefire would be excellent to sideboard in. So our main board, it's tough for us to win that one, especially since we were on the draw. I mean, really, in this scenario, in every game going forward, we want to be on the play. I should say, I think I said on the draw, but we want to be on the play and have a one drop that's aggressive, get the damage in, and you know, the way I see it, if we kind of work backwards, it's, you know, it's a lightning strike or a wizard's lightning that's finishing off our opponent's life total. We maybe cast a successful, or resolve, I should say, a Rekindling Phoenix, and then a Chain Whirler on 3, Steamkin or multiple Steamkins. Okay, so we're on the draw once again. We have an Experimental Frenzy in hand. No burn, which I don't like that much. They start with an Evolving Wilds. I mean, they may, in response to me playing the Firebrand, bring out the color mana they require, or they'll just do it on my end step. So this tells me that they're probably getting, I mean, it's not a red deck. Okay, I was going to say it is a red deck, I suppose. So it's probably it. To be more specific, it's probably not a mono red deck or something like that. I doubt they would play Evolving Wilds. So Druid of the Cowl is really good. A really good wall. So it looks like we're playing red-green or Gruul. Let me see here. I think we want to get the Steamkin out. Combat, no attackers. So it's for creatures like that where not having any burn in our opening hand isn't great. Then again, it has to be a Lightning Strike or Wizard's Lightning. It's really going to be hard to get past these Druids. Okay, so we'll get the trigger, the ETB trigger, and then play another spell. The Steamkin will become a 3/3. They have one red mana open, so I'm not sure if they're debating on using a shock to take out the Steamkin. Or Shivan Fire, okay. Okay, so this is going to be a hard one to win as well. Another Druid of the Cowl. So we really need to resolve a Rekindling Phoenix and then just hope they can't deal with that. Experimental Frenzy, it's kind of nice to have out since we have a couple lands in our hand, but so we have a Lava Runner. And a Carnage Tyrant. Okay, so don't know that we're really getting farther than this. Play a land. Lightning Strike is sort of whatever. It's not like we're going to really resolve any no, I shouldn't say resolve. It's not like we're really going to get any attacks through, so I think our only chance it has trample, to just sort of manage how much trample damage we take, and then hope we just go mad on Experimental Frenzy and just somehow win. Okay, this changes things. So we can respond with the Firebrands. I'm going to do 2 damage. I mean, I guess I could have used the Firebrand, sorry, Fanatical Firebrands to take out the Druid of the Cowls. Okay, so we get a Chain Whirler, a land, and that's all. One more land would be, I don't know what we're doing. Really, the only way we do this, I think, now is, oh, it'd be really nice to play, or to have a Lava Runner out. Oh, that's game. So that's, I mean, that was really only our only out is to burn our opponent, because it's so difficult to deal with that board. All right, so not a great start. Let me see. So, I mean, again, back to front thinking, we're just looking to understand what synergies lie in our deck. Mono red, I mean, there's not a whole lot to Experimental Frenzies. I am on the draw again, so we're having a really tough time here dealing with playing second every time. If we go for a longer game, I guess it's kind of what we have to do. The Phoenix is really nice to have since it's a one of. Yeah, we want to look at the synergies. I mean, this is really just looking to curve out. Oh, so this is the black-red burn, I believe. So if we do this, we play the Viashino, get in 2 damage. Have it up as a blocker. Next turn we play the Runaway Steamkin and then the Gitu Lava Runner. Our 4-drop will look to be Rekindling Phoenix because we obviously don't want to have it stuck in our hand if an Experimental Frenzy is out. I'm not too familiar with this black-red burn deck. So they may just sacrifice the Firebrand. Okay, I mean, that's not that bad for me. I think we still do this. Play the Steamkin, and we can play the Firebrand and just leave it. They're stuck on land, so that's a good sign for me. And we'll pass the turn. So if I draw a land, okay, resolve. No blockers. If I draw land, the Phoenix comes out. If I don't... Okay. I mean, Chain Whirler is not that bad, I suppose. I'm kind of playing this a bit slower, more defensive. Okay. That's good, I think, because if I play the Phoenix next turn, they're not going to have the coil to use on the Phoenix. And another Experimental Frenzy, so that's not great. Whoops, no attackers. My opponent's not drawing land, and neither am I now. Yep. I think if they attack, I'll double block. This feels really bad. Land would just be awesome. But we're not getting it. I feel like this deck would be less heavy on burn spells. Ay, ay, ay. So... Okay, well that's a little underwhelming. But I think if we drew a land there, we would have been in good shape, but alas, such is magic. So that matchup, really, we're just, I think, looking to have a bit bigger board presence and then finish it off, you know, with a burn spell. Or just a bigger Phoenix. Like the plan there was to have the Rekindling Phoenix, them not be able to deal with it, and just go from there. But we are on the draw once again. This time we're on the play, which is nice. So green, black, Golgari. Okay, so we can play the Firebrand, sack it, and then shock the Wild Growth Walker. I mean, it's a 2-for-1. It doesn't feel great. Because I just feel like they're going to have another Wild Growth Walker. But we do get another counter on the Steamkin. And we can shock our opponent. I think we do that too. Then we'll get 2-2 on the Lava Runner. So we're just maximizing our impact right away. A shock's not going to do much. I mean, maybe a Jade Light Ranger comes down. So it would be nice to remove that, I suppose. But right now we're looking to... Okay, so they're still pretty far away from there. They're at 4 mana, so Vraska's Contempt is okay. No attackers. So Experimental Frenzy would be good. Don't know if we should have attacked there. I mean, at this point, okay. So it's a Chain Whirler off the top. We're at 6 land. And they can destroy that. So they've just got everything that they possibly need. So the Chain Whirler does help us a little bit. They've used 2 Vraska's Contempts and a Carnage Tyrant. So I think... And another land. Okay, so we move on. I think this single game format, I might need to modify the deck and not play it sort of in the iteration that it sort of was made for, like, I guess, best of 3s. You know, maybe cut a couple Wizard's Lightning for Lava Coil, say. Just introduce more answers for things that I'll run into in these single matches. I mean, I'll start with that. So a tough go so far. Okay, that seems pretty good. I mean, it could be that mono red aggro is just not positioned that well in the format right now. 2 Chain Whirlers. Okay, Venadonta, okay, another tap land, so pretty slow for my opponent so far. Send everyone in. We can Chain Whirler. I think I just Lava Coil. Well, no, I'd like to get the Chain Whirler in. And then maybe sack the Firebrand to take out the Knight of Malice. And then get in for 5. Okay, so we're coming in for lethal. I mean, this is what the deck is really looking to do. And then just swing with everyone. So, I mean, you can't get any more mono red than that. But it was a very slow start for my opponent, both tap lands. You know, and that's another way to look at the the end of the game. So understanding that, it's like, okay, you know, what are the cards that really worked to bring about that result? You know, having the Chain Whirler, being able to do 1 damage to the Knight of Malice, and then the fire and synergy with the Firebrand, sacrifice it to take out the Knight of Malice, and then swing in for everything. So those are some of the cool synergies within the mono red deck. So I'm on the draw. Okay, I'll keep. So another green matchup. So this might be another Carnage Tyrant Fest. Wild Growth Walker. Okay, so looks like a more graveyard-based deck. Play the Steamkin. And do we attack? I mean, I think we attack. I don't know that they'll... If they block, they block. Oh, I'm mistaken that card. I thought it was, okay, Assassin's Trophy, Vraska, and Hatchery Spider. Interesting. Okay. So we'll play that. And then the Firebrand to get the counter. And enter combat. So there's some good cards that were put in the bin. I mean, good cards for them, but good cards for me to see in the discard pile. Battlefield or dies, okay. Okay, so they got a huge 6/6 now. Guess I'll just send shock at them. And we can't do that, so no attackers. I doubt they'll attack with the Molder Hulk. I always think of Fox Mulder from X-Files when I see this card. Eldest Reborn. Okay. And then I'll have to discard a card. Do another 2. And I'm gonna have to discard this, so maybe I just respond to the trigger, but I don't really know it's gonna make too much of a difference, actually. Yeah, I was just thinking maybe I block the Molder Hulk if they use it, but or if they attack with it, but I'm gonna have to discard it anyway. So what I could have done there was attack with the Steamkin, perhaps, and then if they block with the Molder Hulk, shock. So land feels bad. creature, or so they have Vraska in there, so they'll probably bring that up. So we're under turn two, a 2-turn clock, and I don't really think we'll do much here. We're going to concede, and we draw another land, so yeah, we can't really do much against that. So maybe we pretty much always want to see an Experimental Frenzy in our opening hand. On the play, that's good. As long as we draw land, we're okay, I think. Our opponent has gone down to 6. This is kind of tough because if our 4 drops Experimental Frenzy, then Demanding Dragon is stuck in our hand. Guess we'll do that. Odds are they have a shock or something like that. So maybe we should have played Pyromancer. That I should have known as well. Okay, so that's good to know. So they're stuck on 1 land. So we'll keep a mana open. So those are the subtle things that I've really got to pick up. You know, don't play that first because they're probably going to sacrifice it and take it out. By that I mean the Runaway Steamkin, they'll take that out first. So it's probably a shock or a lightning strike. But I don't think I'm going to attack. They'll just Wizards Lightning me. Okay. Okay. So I think it's important that I take out the Lava Runner now. I guess we just end. Hopefully we hit a 5th land. Okay. And we do not. So I guess we take that out. So they may just send a lot of burn our way. I think it's important to keep the shock because let's see. Because if they start just playing 1 drops and 2 drops, We can maybe protect ourselves. I mean, we're tapped out now, but... Okay, so we're kind of in trouble here. It's very likely that they'll be able to... So if I get in for 5 in the air, I need to do 11 damage. That's 2, that's 4, that's 9. If we target the Firebrand with the shock, they'll just sacrifice it and do damage to us. But then do we play the Experimental Frenzy? Okay, the odds are very low here that we survive this. But I think it's important we keep the shock up in response to the Firebrand. I'm just gotta hope that they hit 2 lands. Okay, so they've got what they need. That'll have haste. Okay, so we might get through this. They're tapped out. We can attack and then burn them out. So is he doing it? Okay. All right, so there we go. I mean, it was just him or her, I suppose, not missing or not getting what they needed off that last turn with Experimental Frenzy. I got a little bit lucky there. I thought my odds were very low that I would survive. They were very likely to hit a lightning strike or something like that. One thing I've got to get better at is just determining whether I should burn creatures or send it at the opponent. And I mean, there's scenarios for both. But determining which is appropriate, that's the tough part. Okay. We go with the Firebrand, go to combat. And we have an Experimental Frenzy, so this isn't too bad. We have some red mana. It's very likely that the Runaway Steamkin's not going to survive if I play it now. I think we just go into combat and then send out the Pyromancer. And then if they use a shock or something like, I don't even know if this is red-blue or if it's mono-red. Okay, looks like it's that black-red. Rakdos burn. Yeah, see, so if we play the Runaway Steamkin, it definitely would have been taken out there. So now we can play it, and the Lava Runner. And, I mean, it's unfortunate that we couldn't play another spell just to kind of secure it from Moment of Craving, but... And there's another one. Okay, so we're at 4. And then I think we play out the Experimental Frenzy here. We have another Firebrand on the top of our deck. We're going to draw that. We have a land and then another land, so not great. So my opponent stuck on land. I think it was the last Rakdos. Oh, okay, so it's not Rakdos. It is Grixis. So that's their first blue source. Wow, 1-drop City here. Not really panning out exactly how we want. Because if they have a Ritual of Soot now, okay, Eldest Reborn, that's a little bit scary too. I'll sacrifice a Lava Runner. We'll draw the Experimental Frenzy, so if it ends up that they destroy it, then we can play it again. But I'm surprised we're not seeing a Nicol Bolas or a Doom Whisperer or something. Raul, okay. So we haven't really drawn into a lot of our burn spells. They're taking out a creature, which tells me that they don't have much in their hand, and they're scared of their life total being at that point. So, Lightning Strike, that's good. We can send it at Ral or at our opponent. I think we send it at Ral. And they can get it back next turn. So maybe we should have just left it. But I don't know. Let's see. There's Pyromancer and Lava Runners and a Steamkin. And they've gone with the Lava Runner. So they're really concerned about their life total if they didn't get that Raw. So we have Demanding Dragon. And they're going to Vraska's Contempt a Steamkin. Okay, that's pretty good in that it's not going to be targeted at our Demanding Dragon unless they have multiples. Okay, that's fine. You might take the Experimental. Okay. Firebrand. I mean, they know we can't use our hand anyway. So the Demanding Dragon we're not going to be able to use because we're drawing it. I want to get that Lava Runner off the field. We have a Wizard, so we can cast this for 1. And I think it's worth casting this Phoenix because we can't attack with the Steamkin, but if we draw, we can't use the Phoenix. So I think it's worth casting it. Because now they have to deal with the Phoenix, and if they can't, the Ritual of Soot would take everything out, but the Rekindling Phoenix would come back. Okay, and they've taken themselves out, so really, it wasn't, I don't think it was a great draw for my opponent, which is why it went that way. But I had, what did I have? Pretty good plays. I mean, 1 drop, 2 drop. There's no Chain Whirler, but my opponent didn't do anything for the first 4 turns. Three Shocks and a Gitu Lava Runner. Like this hand is not great. So if we curve out nicely with our mana, this could be an excellent hand. We have a Scry. I'm gonna bottom that and then hope we draw a land. If we don't, we've kind of really hurt ourselves here, but yeah, so we've if we don't draw land now, we're in some trouble. Okay, that's fine. Okay, we do manage to get a land, so that's good. Still not over the hill yet. We need to draw a third. If we don't, Lightning Strike can take care of the Chain Whirler. So I think that's just what we have to do now. Feels bad. But again, that's what I signed up for with keeping that hand. So they're at 4 mana and they didn't play a 4-drop. So they've got something. I'm not gonna attack. Okay, resolve. So they have land and burn spells. Okay, so this Chain Whirler, it can come out, it'll definitely get a burn spell to the face. I think I've got to play this a little more strategically. So they may use a burn spell on me. Yeah. Which is probably what I should have done it on their end step or something like that. But I'll just shock. I mean, I'll just sack it. do some damage. They probably wanted to get that out of the way. So they have an Experimental Frenzy. This isn't great. I really hope I can hit a land here. And we don't. So this is going to go downhill from here, I think. I mean, I'm just not drawing land, and they have an Experimental Frenzy. I just got to hope that they... I pretty much have to let them draw 3 cards now. Deck just does not want to give me lands. I can do 6 damage. It's not enough. Guess I just take that out and hope for the best, but I doubt I survive. So I think, I mean, they have a lot of cards in their hand. I've really just got to hope that they keep just drawing lands off the top, or there's lands at the top of their library. Okay, that happens, and they... Okay. So we finally get a land. I guess we just play this. I mean, we can't attack. We just got to hope that they don't get what they need. But I'm at 4. I'm going to need a blocker of some sort. Okay, well, I have to decline. All right, well, that is GG. Just trying to have a little fun there with the risk factors, I presume. Okay, and we go onward and upward. I think this is our 7th game now. And we have 2 wins, if I'm not mistaken. So not a great ratio. Let's just leave it at that. We're on the play. 4 and a 5 drop, and we only have 2 lands to work with. This can be tough. but I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be okay. So we could see a shock coming our way. No. Play the lava runner. And then maybe shock our opponent. Get one instant in the graveyard to potentially find another and pump our lava runners. So it's an is it deck. So draw cards are coming out. This is the other, well, I don't know if it's the same, but we have an is it spells deck that we're just missing one card to finish. And we do not pick up another land. We get another instant, so we can go to combat, get in for 5. But if they can deal with our creatures and we don't draw lands, then we're in a tough spot. Yeah, we're in a tough spot. So we don't attack and we end. And once again, we are at a land starved, or in a land starved state. And we won't be able to do anything for at least 2 turns as far as our hand is concerned. Are there any phoenixes in the bin? Nope. Still no land. We can get in for 3. I've got to do something, because if I don't, this does leave me with some outs now. If I hit a land, well, not even a land, I mean, maybe a couple shocks or something. And I can barely scrape by. Or a lightning strike, we have the firebrand. Okay, there's a shock, so that's not good. Not looking good at the moment. And my opponent is drawing a ton of cards. So it's a 2-turn clock if they attack with both. If I draw lightning strike and they attack with both creatures, I can win. But if they're smart, they wouldn't do that. So there's my land, but I can't really do anything with it. So they're flyers. I mean, I can't block with it anyway. I can't block with my creatures anyway. If I send both in, one of them's going to get blocked. That's going to leave them at 4. But I'm at they have 11 power. I got to imagine that they're going to play another. So I think it's just over. It is just over. And once again, just as a reminder, we do have the word of the stream above me: expatiate. Speak or write at length or in detail. As I've mentioned before, I am an avid reader, and if I come across a word in a book and I don't know what it means, I record it, look it up, so I know what the heck the book's talking about, and then I just keep a list, a vocabulary list of all these different words that I mean, I don't remember all of them, but just kind of keep them there so I do learn them eventually. So a little slow, more reactive, I think, than I want to be. But we'll keep it. Just see how it goes. We're on the play. That's nice. So drawing a 2-mana creature would be great. But if we're up against an aggressive matchup, the Lightning Strike and Lava Coil could be pretty good too. We are not. So another land. Let's go into combat. I don't know. I imagine it's just an opt here. So we'll send a Lightning Strike at our opponent. Chain Whirler would be nice. I think Chain Whirler would be our best draw here. So we are, okay, I was gonna say we're kind of maybe at risk here for a seal away, but I doubt they'd seal away a Fanatical Firebrand. So we're at 4 mana next turn, but they'll be at 3, so they have a potential counter. If there's a second blue source, then it's a little scary. So we can go to combat. Runaway Steam. Whoa. Runaway Steamkin. I have a feeling this will get countered, so but let's try it. Okay, and it doesn't. Four mana, if maybe a Wrath or something comes out. Then we play our Experimental Frenzy. If Lyra, well, that'd be next turn. Okay. So they're tapped out right now. We draw a land. We play the Experimental Frenzy. And just hope for the best. Another Lava Coil. That's kind of glad we're drawing that. But at the same time, if Lyra comes down now, I'd want to use a Lava Coil and then sacrifice the Firebrand to take her out. And we could do that. Actually, no, that's 4 mana. We're at 5. We'd need a 6th. Okay, well, judging by the speed, my opponent doesn't have a 5th land. Okay, we get our 6th land, we get a Lava Runner, a Shock, two mana sources up, a Negate. Okay, sure. Can't do much about that. And another land. So we'll go to combat. And we draw the land next turn and then see what comes off the top. So still no 5th. Okay, there's the 5th land. So Settle the Wreckage. I mean, it was a consideration before, but I completely forgot about it and took no consideration. So they're at 7. I mean, it'd be ideal. No, I guess 5 and 4, that different. But could be a Lightning Strike. Okay, so there's the Lyra. So I think at this point I want to respond with destroying that. Do that, and then we'll have to exile her. That's the sequencing there. So if it would die, we exile. If they have, if they have another one, we won't be able to do the same thing, but we just gotta hope that we don't see another Lyra. Ditching the Experimental Frenzy is a shame, but Lyra is just too hard to deal with otherwise. And there's another one. So how funny is this? We can do the same thing. So now a lightning strike off the top could be nice. I mean, they've used a negate. If they don't tap out, we could just grind them to death with the lava runner, but I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen a seal away or anything. Put a card into your opponent's hand. The other will be exiled. 6 mana. They're at 5 mana right now. History isn't great for me either, but they can't cast it right now. So I might be in trouble here. If they play... Okay, Syncopate is interesting. I mean, I do have a fair amount of mana open, so... Put that into their hand. So Chain Whirler would be great. I mean, at this point, we just attack, really. Like, we go to combat. I mean, they have the history of Benalia to generate a knight to potentially buy some time. But then they'd have 2 mana open. If they play the history and they have a negate, that's just too bad for me. But their hesitancy is telling me that they have a 3 mana counter spell. Okay, so I don't think they'd have a 2. Okay, so they can't counter this. And then I can sacrifice it. Okay. Don't think there are ways to counter activated abilities in standard format right now. So we just barely squeaked by. The Fanatical Firebrand's doing their work. Don't know how many games this, I think that was my 7th or 8th. But we will continue on. On the draw, I will have to play. We have the Firebrand. I just played. I'm probably not going to attack with it. We have a couple shocks and a lightning strike, more reactive than I'd like. But in this case, I think we're just looking to against Golgari. Having the lightning strike is nice, and the shocks to deal with maybe those wild growth walkers or Jade Light Rangers or branch walkers. Okay, so that'll get a counter, and they put the Plague Crafter in the graveyard. So we can play the Steamkin and pass the turn. If we don't get a 3-drop next turn, we can shock the Branch Walker and maybe shock something else. Put 2 counters on and go in for 4. They're likely to swing in with the 1. Okay, and they do. So another land. Do I want to attack with both? I think I just do the Steamkin. For a drop, only 1 black source, so that's definitely notable. Maybe a Jade Light Ranger. Okay. It explores, and they hit a land. I think we shock. Okay, hitting that lava coil is pretty good. They play the Plague Crafter next turn. We sack the Firebrand. Okay, and we'll save the Lightning Strike and Lava Coil. Okay, resolve. Okay, not a great draw. Plague Crafter comes in. Let's say we sacrifice a creature. And they're at 6 lands. I'm waiting for a Vraska or something big to come out. That's something too. Resolve. probably want to take that out. And no attackers. So right now, there's Vraska. Okay, well, it's a good card, but we'll see if it sticks around. I think Vraska's Contempt might come out. Okay, so they can destroy it with Vivian Reed and then destroy the token with Vraska. Okay, so we're going to concede. That's the end of that one. It just went on way too long. I mean, we weren't able to put through enough aggression early, and the Planeswalkers came out. They put some creatures on their board, and that was that. On the draw, I think this is pretty good. So they've gone down to 6. And a swamp. Okay. Firebrand may have a moment of craving or something like, nope, okay. And another Golgari matchup, and Druid of the Cowl. I think we Lava Coil, because we don't want the mana ramp either. Third land would be great. Okay, and once again, so the two land hands have not been good for me today. Let's just put it that way. But again, it's probably a lesson in mulligans. There's 22 land in this deck, so I mean, it seems like a decent chance to draw, but it has not been cooperating, and the Steamkin draws a lot of hate. As it should. If it gets out of hand, it's a pretty ridiculous card. Okay, no blockers. Damage. Okay, so we do draw a third land. We could do a Steamkin and then a Gitu Lava Runner. Or we do, let's see, I think we get the Steamkin out. I was thinking maybe we get a Wizard out and then Wizard's Lightning the Ranger, but A lot of exploring here. And there's a Carnage Tyrant. So that's what we were waiting for. Don't really think we can even deal with that. But let's see. We can get in for 8. I think we just need to get damage out at this point. I mean, if we get, oh, sorry, we're going for 6. So if, I mean, Carnage Tyrant is going to come out. If they do have another land, I think our only shot is to just really hope to draw maybe an Experimental Frenzy and then burn my opponent out. Get in for 4 and then slowly, I think I take out the Jade Light Ranger. And then just hope they don't really draw much else. And then swing in for... Okay, well that'll do it. We attacked there. They're at 9-8 now, so trample damage. So that is game. They just get in there with Carnage Tyrant. So Golgari seems to be the deck to beat. I've played it at least 5 times. I would like to start playing the Is It Spells deck. We are only missing the Phoenix, but maybe we can... Maybe we can play it anyway. Warcraft Phoenix, that's the other one I was thinking of. Sure, let's just put it in for fun. Oh, cancel, what am I at here? 58. So I'm missing a couple cards. I have to see which ones I'm missing. Or maybe the Enigma Drakes. Three Crackling Drake. One lava coil. I mean, I guess these are just all different mixtures of deck. Well, that's an interesting list. 4 Arclight, 3. Okay, well for now we can just throw in a few cards. Maybe I'll do one more maximize velocity. And then 2 of those. Chart course, 1 beacon bolt, lava coil. Okay, let's give this a shot. So breaking this one down and looking backward feels a bit different, obviously, than the mono red list. So I mean, this, you want to have a good amount of instants and sorceries in the graveyard, and then have just one of those Enigma Drakes, Crackling Drakes come out and be pretty huge. So we're on the draw. We have both sources of mana. An Electromancer. We probably like one more instant in our hands. But I think I'll keep. And this Warcry Phoenix is just sort of like a placeholder, if you will. We are working on one more Arclight Phoenix, so we'll have to grind a little more for that. Okay, we'll keep. And unfortunately, we can't bolt the bird, so we'll just get an island out and pass. Yipes, that's a pretty good card. Okay, do we want to play the Electromancer? I think so. 3 mana, the Enigma Drake won't really be much at this point, so I think next turn we opt and then Radical Idea. Because we'll have 2 sources of blue. Now we do want to see some removal in what we draw. And there's a big dude. Okay, Enigma Drake's not going to do too much. And another opt. Probably Discovery at this point. Throw that in the graveyard. You know, really we want to see something like a shock. Definitely no attackers. So this is definitely a little slower than we'd like. They're going to swing in for a lot. That's 10 power. Oh boy. Well, if we are... Does this thing have... No, it doesn't. We can block that. We lose our Electromancer. Crackling Drake's a 3/4. If they don't play another creature, that's good against the Pelt Collector. We can do the Enigma Drake and then maybe opt. But still, this is really tough. I just think this is too slow. Okay, well, if they swing with everything, we're potentially, I'm hoping they don't play another creature, and then we can maybe block the Pelt Collector. Then we take, if they swing with everything, we take 10. And that's about it. We have one Lava Coil. We have the shocks, but they're not really going to do a lot right now. We have our 5th land, but we have to play it tapped. At least I think so. We're going to take a lot of damage here. Okay, so this is going to make things a little more complicated. Well, we're taking 9/10 anyway. I think we block. Hold on. Or dies. If that... Greater than... Oh, okay, so that's going to become a 7/7. Ouch. Not sure if we're going to be able to get through this one. And another Steam Vents, so that, I mean, we just can't play tapped, I mean untapped. Can play Crackling Drake to maybe buy us a turn. 2 blockers, we're at 5, even still. They attack in. These are likely going to die anyway. I really don't see us getting out of this. Sad days, my friends, sad days. Maybe some exogenous ketones will help. Cure my ills. Okay, well, we'll give it another shot. Only way we're going to get better with the deck is by playing it. I should probably familiarize myself with the deck more. The mono red deck I have pretty well down. The previous iteration of the Is It Spells deck I was playing, I had that down fairly well. But we're only playing the single round matches here, which is less than ideal. Sideboarding in its best out of 3 is great because it really helps you get a grasp on your deck. Chart of course would have been nice so we could discard the Arclight Phoenix. But we'll be able to get, I'm on the dross, but we'll be able to get a couple of instants and sorceries in the graveyard early. No removal. Okay, we'll give it a shot. In all honesty, I don't really know what an ideal opening hand is as of now. So maybe an Is It Mirror or mono red. That leads me to believe it's more like a, oh, okay. So they've discarded. I will opt in response. Okay, I think it'll be a little bit slower on their end. So I can get away with this. So let's Surveil 2, then draw a card. Beacon Bolt will be useful eventually. I think we graveyard the shock, but eventually isn't great. There's only one of in the deck though. Okay, so they played that untapped, so they have, I guess that's their first blue source, so. That's 2 spells, and they do have a Phoenix in there. 3. Okay. Okay, that's a pretty good draw. I mean, I think we just hold it until next combat phase and then potentially take out the Phoenix, but we want to see what our opponent will do before that to get the most information. Okay. So we pay 2 life. This is a 5/4. We do need something to sort of be able to deal with the Enigma Drake. Okay, so we can chart a course, discard the Arclight Phoenix. or play the Electromancer first, chart a course, discard the Arclight Phoenix. So they're going to 2-for-1. Dive down would have been really nice here. So Beacon Bolt, looks like we're going to have to deal with this Enigma Drake. Ouch. So we play that, we'll be able to Beacon Bolt this. And so it's unlikely that we survive here because they have a shock, I'm sure, and they can just swing in with the Phoenix. But if they don't, or they have another one of those, that will do it as well. Okay, so rough start with the Is It Phoenix deck, but can't expect much since we're brand new with it, so. Trying to think, so back to front, sort of analysis with the deck. I think it ends that way. I mean, either you're swinging with a huge Crackling Drake or an Enigma Drake with a bunch of instants or sorceries in the graveyard, or you've just had such a quick start with drawing and discarding, and then you're able to bring a couple Arclight Phoenixes in and be very aggressive quickly. We have the Electromancer, we have both mana, we have a bit of removal, and I'm on the draw, so I think I'll keep. Wild Growth Walker. Okay, we'll play. I think we can do the Steam Vents tapped. Hello, hello. If anyone is with me, say hello if you are down to. So we have that. That's not a huge deal for this deck because we do focus on flyers. We can play the Electromancer here and pass the turn. So they've shocked themselves, so they're at 3 mana. Jade Light Ranger, perhaps. Oh, okay. It's a 4/6. So not sure how we're going to deal with that one. Well, first we've got to get some instants and sorceries into the graveyard. We can chart a course, discard the Phoenix, and guess shock our opponent. Then we can go to combat. I think we just attack with... Do we attack with everything? Next turn will be at 4. I think we do if we want to win this race. If they maybe come out with something fairly big next turn, hopefully we can deal with it with a lava coil. But this wild growth walker is just going to continue to become beastly. So we can do 5 damage, 1/1. So if it becomes a 4, that brings it down to 5. The Electromancer does another 2. I mean, we have to... Can we work this out? We can play the Enigma Drake and then maximize velocity. So it's 4, 7, 9. I think that's what we do. And then we can play the Steam Vents untapped. Okay, so it ended up working out. Guess they didn't really have much else to do. They just loaded up the Wild Growth Walker. And then luckily we drew the, well, I mean, we had the maximized velocity, the Enigma Drake. I guess it's more just about seeing those lines. I think that's a big part of playing this deck effectively, is hitting your draw spells, discarding the Phoenixes, and then from your selection of instants and sorceries, just using them in a way that helps you win. So, okay, that was pretty good. We're also working on the blue or black spells reward here, which will help us get a pack, and then hopefully get another Arclight Phoenix. Odds of it actually hitting it in a pack are very low, so I don't expect that, but I don't know what wild card we're working on. So we have some discard, no creatures, we are on the play. Let's try it. Really, at this point, I'm just sort of experimenting with the deck. So I really don't know what's optimal, what's suboptimal. My instincts and lack of experience only go so far. Oh, is this a goblin deck? Okay, we'll opt. Steam Vents, I think we can bottom that one. Okay, Warcraft, I mean, if that was, that should be an Arclight Phoenix, and that would have been, I think, the ideal draw here. But let's throw it in anyway. So kind of unfortunate not having the Arclight Phoenix in that scenario, but that's okay. Legion Warboss, he is a little bit annoying. So we do draw the shock in order to deal with it. That's kind of nice. I think we play this untapped so we can chart a course. Even though I don't like doing that in aggressive matchups. Because we do need to manage our life total. So discovery is good here too. I think we want to I mean, having the island is nice. Another Legion War Boss. Okay, drawing another land isn't great. But we can play the Enigma Drake. It is pretty big. So that's nice. If we maximize velocity, I don't know if we're really looking to attack though. Because we'll be taking potentially 5 off of the, that includes the Mentor trigger. So we'll just pass the turn back. Okay, well, we'll try and block this. This is just the beatdown right here. So that'll give us 5 mana if I play it untapped.
Okay, this.
Next. Yeah. Oh, I like that one.
But I think we play tap. We get the Electromancer out. Chart a course.
Even on mobile. Just don't let it go to your head.
Discard the Radical Idea. The 1/1 that's at sorcery speed. So the Chain Whirler, I'm just hoping that they don't have any sort of burn or anything like that to use on my Enigma Drake if I block the Chain Whirler, but something will get through. Okay, yep, that was kind of expected. Damage, those trade. If they don't play another creature, it's likely that they just have more burn. Well, that would be better in the graveyard, but not like we can hard cast it. Shock would be great. Lava Coil would as well, but I don't have the mana. Once again, it's likely that they have burn in their hand. So let's make them use it. We have one creature. They'll be able to get in for 4. Yeah, don't know about this one. Okay, that's a concession. Sad days. Sad days indeed. Okay, go back to mono red, try and get a win so we can get that reward, albeit it's a small one, but that's okay. No calisthenics talk this stream, but check out the VOD, the last one we discussed, and it was an analysis of a pistol squat sequence that I have been training for a long time. So we had great discussion around that and kind of each part of it, how to work up toward it, and then how it can be manipulated, all that kind of fun stuff. So be sure to check that out. And then the one prior to that it was a jump rope video on the fundamentals. So if you're into it, check it out. A couple lightning strikes. We do have to be a little more reactive here since we're on the draw. Okay, so we'll take out the Steamkin. And no attacks. So really, we're just looking to go bigger than our opponent if we're able to. No attackers. Oh, we do have mana for a Firebrand, so let's get that down. Okay, on our 4th turn, I meant 4th land. If we draw, we can play. Okay, well, let's respond. Sack that to get rid of that. And I mean, I kind of think we have to lightning strike the Chain Whirler and then play the Pyromancer. That's if we draw. A land, and we don't. That seems to be the case today for mono red. It's just not drawing land ever. But we did keep some hands that started out with just 2. So, you know, maybe it's our own fault. But so we are not drawing lands. My opponent will likely draw one now, but we're both stuck at 3. You can have that. Okay, so we do want to get the Phoenix out. And then if we draw nothing next turn, we can play Experimental Frenzy. So okay, I was going to say if they lightning struck the Phoenix on my end step, they probably have another burn spell. in their hand that they'd use to take out the token. Okay, so we play, I mean, do we play the mountain or do we leave it in our hand? I mean, because I'll have one extra land. I think so, because if there's another land on top, then there's another land. But if there isn't, if there's maybe a shock, then that's potentially to our benefit. Or that. So we have a Pyromancer. Despite them being on the play, we're both at 5 lands. No block. I always forget to do that. I'm very suspicious that they have burn in their hand. See, so that's why I didn't block with the Phoenix. Oh, I can't do that. Okay. I mean, this isn't great. I think our hope is that we just... I was going to say just draw what we need. Yeah, so they've got it anyway. So their experimental frenzy was much more favorable. Okay, so GG. And that feels like how it is in the mirror match if you just have a better experimental frenzy. Unfortunately, we didn't draw any of our lava coils. So we're 3 spells, we were 3 blue or black spells off from that. So maybe I'll go back to the, is it Phoenix deck, get that reward, open up the pack, and then hopefully we can get one more win and get that, I think it was 50 gold. Not too much, but it's something. Maybe Jolly Guy will make this a jolly game. It has been a rough go for me tonight. I've been getting crushed. Not a good hand. I mean, this could be better, depending on the matchup. Dive down, I don't think is ideal. We'll go mountain. But it depends. If we're up against a control type matchup, then it might be kind of tough. Okay, so we hope for a land next turn. We do not get one. This is kind of a tough choice here. I think I deal with this. We do have another shock up, but if it's a chain whirler, okay. Resolve. Okay. So we want a land, we do not get it. We've just got to try and minimize the damage we take. It has been a non-land evening thus far. This is so rough. Still no more lands. Okay, if they drop a Phoenix here, then I think I can call it. I mean, I don't think I can deal with this anyway. It's a 5/4, which is decent, but may just be too late. Let's see what happens one more turn. If they don't attack with the Firebrand, they can just attack with the Chain Whirler, take the damage. My Enigma Drake dies. But they have to sacrifice the Firebrand, so that's fine. We just hope we draw another land. Okay, well, I have to decline. Okay. Okay, so I think that's it. We just were way too far behind. Even if I play the Enigma Drake and block, like they just drew 6 cards, they're gonna have enough. They're gonna have enough burn to take me out. So we can move on from that one, and there we go. We get the reward. So we can hopefully get this last win, if possible, and then open up the pack and call it. Very slow. I don't think I'm going to keep. Don't like that one either. Okay, this isn't great. We really need to smooth out. Oh, we can't smooth out. We need really good draws here. So if we don't draw lands from here on out, we're in trouble. Okay, a land off the top would be nice. If the theme of this evening continues, we will not draw land and then be stuck on 3 for a while, but... And there we go. So they've left 3 mana open. So what could they have? A Moment of Craving, or probably a Cast Down? Okay, that's really nice, because that'll give us our land. Okay, I guess we just play that. Rekindling Phoenix is good, but they'll have Vraska's Contempt to deal with that. So, I mean, this has just gone way too far. I don't know that I'll even be able to do anything here, especially with Vivian Reed. Vivian Reed won't be able to destroy it. If they don't have Raskas, I could maybe untap here.
No one knows the wilds like I do.
Yep, and they just have everything that they need. This is looking real tough. I mean, this deck just seems to get outclassed so hard by Golgari. Really hard by Golgari. Okay. So it's shuffled now, which is good, but I really don't know what I will be able to do here. Okay, I think we are good to concede. We just cannot buy a win tonight, friends. So we will open up a pack. And that'll give us a mythic rare, so that's actually pretty good. And then we can get our last Phoenix. And complete the Is It Phoenix deck. So that's a pretty good way to end it, I guess. After just getting wrecked this entire time. Okay, so Warcry Phoenix can go. And I mean, we've put so much into building these two decks already. You know, it's kind of tough because the meta, it will evolve and change. And it looks like Golgari right now is the deck to beat. So it's kind of tough to say, maybe you should use whatever you get to start building Golgari. However, I mean, I'd rather just have the more important cards required for these decks, and then I can finish them and just, you know, move on to something else. So could have got the Rekindling Phoenix there, but, you know, now we're actually done the Is It Phoenix deck. That's the first deck that I started to build, and it shouldn't take us too long to get in another rare wild card, or, you know, I'll start getting Rivals of Ixalan packs now, and then we might even pull a Phoenix, so who knows. But as far as the back to front thinking goes, I mean, it's the Is It Spells deck. The cards that really seem to stand out, obviously, are the Phoenixes, the synergy with being able to draw and discard. And then you have a bit of removal, but I think it's more about being able to really consistently draw cards or surveil, and then put the phoenixes in the graveyard, and then just cast cheap draw instants in order to bring them back out. So I see the game ending with, you know, just being aggressive enough where you have 2 or even 3 phoenixes in the air, or you take it slower, maybe play some removal, take out the creatures of your opponent, and then drop really big Enigma Drakes. You know, give them haste with maximized velocity and swing in for a lot and win that way. But the cards that really lead there are your Chart of Courses, are your opts to get the instants into the graveyard, to get the Enigma Drakes up there, or even the Crackling Drakes. But if you're really not able to discard or get your draw spells, and you kind of just play these 3 and 4 drop creatures that don't have a ton of power, and it's just way too slow. So I think you're really just looking to burst out of the gate with the As It Spells deck. Played a ton of Golgari, so mono red just seemed to get outclassed heavily. I mean, I'm not the most experienced with these decks, so I likely wasn't playing them optimally, but they just seemed to be so heavily favored that it was really tough to get a win against those Golgari decks. But I think that will be it for this evening. As I mentioned, previously did the calisthenics talk on a pistol squat sequence that I consistently train because I want to improve the skill aspects, especially of pistol squats, and of course strength. Prior to that, did the fundamentals of jump rope, so check those out. Elevate Your Craft, all one word, is the handle for the YouTube channel and the Facebook page. The Facebook page is where I primarily post a lot of the content, and it also has the largest audience, so that's likely where you want to go, as well as the YouTube page. You'll find all of the video content on there. But until then, that is all for me. We'll continue with the 7th guest playthrough, likely Friday. And then after that, we're going to do Resident Evil 7. I think that's in the cards for very soon. I've been wanting to play that game for a long, long time, and I'll be playing it blind. I have not looked at any content pertaining to the game. I have not read anything. I'm going in completely blind, other than maybe stuff that I've come in contact with indirectly. It is a game, I absolutely love the Resident Evil series, and really saved myself for that game, for 7, until I could actually play it. And now I can, so we'll be starting that up very soon. But until then, you guys take it easy, and I'll catch you next time.